Good morning, bitches. Yeah, you found me. Now listen up. Prophane Philosopher here to bring you another episode. I've been watching a lot of debates on is Islam a religion of peace? And you know that I'm going to be doing a spoof soon of Father Uncle Tom debating a Muslim imam, a Ayatollah Uncle Khomeini, on is Islam a religion of peace? Showing that basically ISIS is Islam, no matter what people say. And so I wanted to counter an argument, or at least give my take on what I hear a lot of. If you argue like Robert Spencer and some of these people that do the debates, Sam Harris, etc., Ayaan Hirsi Ali, a bunch of ex-Muslims, it will start with, well, ISIS uses the Quran to justify its actions with verses right out of the Quran and the Hadiths, which are recordings of what Muhammad actually either said or did, supposedly, all written 200 to 300 years after he was dead. So yeah, we can really trust all of those. But I mean, but the point is, let me not stray. You say that ISIS uses Islam to justify their jihad murders, their killings, okay? And when you argue that to a white Western liberal that has been brainwashed by the liberal media that Islam is a religion of peace, which these debates, I can tell you we're not getting anywhere fast. I'm going to stray again real quick. These debates, if you watch the whole thing, then you turn around and read the comments going down there, it's like 20 or 30 to 1 Westerners versus non-Muslims versus Muslims, okay? But the vast majority, and again, there will be one out of all these people, there'll be one douchebag that just parrots the lamestream media exactly. No, to conflate Islam with ISIS is wrong. ISIS is hijacking the religion, and Islam is peace. And those fuckers, you don't even pay attention to them. 90+% of all the Westerners are like, Robert Spencer won that debate hands down. That poor Muslim guy doesn't even know what he's doing. Or they do bring up, because a lot more Westerners know about taqiyya now, which is a Muslim doctrine that allows them to lie for their own safety, which is totally the opposite of the Christian, what the martyrs went to their death for. I will never deny Jesus. On pain of death, I will not deny Jesus. Allah says, go ahead and fucking deny me if you need to protect your own filthy skin. That's okay. I don't give a fuck if you lie about me. Totally incongruous and weird. But my point that I'm trying to make is, you argue the connections to Islamic jihad terror of the religious doctrine of Islam to it, and white Western liberals will all say, well, A, that's not true, they're hijacking the religion, and B, what about Timothy McVeigh? He was a white Christian that blew up and murdered people. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go slow here for you. So try and stay with me, liberal. If a guy, how come you fuckers can argue this with a straight face? That a guy who's Anglo and says, or said sometime maybe in the past, because I don't remember ever hearing a quote of Timothy McVeigh himself saying, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, but maybe he did. So say for the sake of argument, he said, I'm a Christian. And then he goes and performs the exact action of murdering people, which is the number one thing that Christianity says we're against, and white liberals go, see, Christians are violent murder terrorists too. But Muslims aren't, because out of the tens of thousands of Muslim jihadists that have committed tens of thousands of jihad terrorist acts since 9/11 worldwide, okay, when they say themselves, we are Muslim, and look at this Muslim teaching right out of the Quran, kill the unbelievers wherever you find them, and we are doing that. And a white Western liberal will go, No. We can believe Timothy McVeigh when he says he's a Christian, but we can't believe tens and tens of thousands of Muslims when they say they're jihadist terrorists right out of the Quran. Now, how do you even put words on how fucking insanely, idiotically illogical that is of Westerners? Our media needs to get off of this religion of peace kick and get off of racism, because they're not a race. Holy fuck, I hate arguing that to these fucking idiots that Islam is not a race, you assholes. So the video I did of my cousin's wife bitching at me about saying, oh, so you're only against Muslims. No, Muslims are people. It's the ideology that I'm against, because the ideology can turn certain individuals. Okay? But at least she didn't say racist, and I don't want to help them with their arguments, but if the media and the left would switch from calling anti-Islam people racists to calling them bigots, well, at least we wouldn't be able to argue as easily against that as we argue against, you can't call me a racist if they're not a race, you dumb fucking asshole. So now watch, they're all going to switch to going, well, no, okay, you're not racist, but you're bigoted. Okay, and the Islamists aren't? You're telling me that No, they won't tell you that Islamic jihad terrorists are not bigots for their religion, because they're going to stick to the argument that even though they follow what their book says, they're hijacking the religion and they're not really Muslims. What a load of fucking shit. And again, the real problem I see is even the people that are trying to have valid discussions, it doesn't seem to be working, because the brainwashed Muslims and their cohorts, the white Western leftists, refuse to even acknowledge what's actually written in that book, and that if you follow it, you are being religious and you're just as bigoted. The current definition of bigot is a person who holds strong opinions and won't change their mind on it. Well, if you go back to my 35-year-old dictionary, it actually puts in there about a person who is so believing in their opinions, but those types of opinions are usually religious. That's number one. And then I think it goes into political or sex or whatever other that you might believe wholeheartedly in a single stance on a particular issue, and then you're never going to change your mind on it. Okay? Well, these debates, I'm afraid, really are looking like the majority of those that go into it with a sort of preconceived notion of one side don't too often change their mind from it, and they usually say their guy won. And the ones of the other mindset, i.e. the Muslims, usually go in there. Again, what would really be nice would be to see, I guess you'd have to go to it in person, to watch the same type of debate where Robert Spencer had the necessary U.S. military guards, or maybe they separate these fuckers and do it cameo appearance. But to see this debate take place over in an actual fucking Muslim country and promise them it ain't going to be televised to the West, and now you guys get to speak the way you really feel, and all of a sudden the roles wouldn't reverse. The Muslims would just proudly say, fuck yeah, fuck no, Islam isn't a religion of peace for you fuckers. It's a religion of peace for us, but it sure as fuck not a religion of peace for you until you become a Muslim. And that would be more their honest position on it, because it is brought out in the Quran that the peaceful time at the end of times is when everybody has been killed or converted, and there's not even any more dhimmis, meaning non-Muslims that are allowed to live by paying the jizya and feeling themselves properly subdued and submission, and that they've given submission. So again, the total illogic. If you ever hear that argument, well, Christians did it too. Robert Spencer's got a whole book on the Crusades, how that was totally, the whole Crusades 500, 600, 800 fucking years ago, 1,000 years, however long ago that friggin' was a defensive response against Muslim jihad outreach. It wasn't just Christians being violent for the sake of being violent or going to try and proselytize their religion to other peoples. It happened after the Muslims had wiped out the Byzantine Christians. So look that up historically if you don't know about that. But again, the argument that modern day white Christian terrorists are just as bad as Islamic jihad terrorists is a total load of tripe. And the illogic in saying that we believe a Christian who says he's Christian when he does the opposite of what is taught. But we're going to argue out of the same same mouth that Muslims that say they're Muslims, that do what their teaching says, are not real Muslims at all, and you can't trust them. They're hijacking the religion. So, what a crock of shit. This is the Prophane Philosopher telling you to take care of your physical self so that your mental self can continue. Thanks for watching.